Hello everybody. In this video, we're going to explore a little bit more the capability of an Express application and how can actually do some posting, how to get some information, and how to protect a route. So let's actually get started. So for now, let me open my project folder, Super as an API. Okay, I have it here. Perfect. So the last time what we did is actually we did the route, the root route to specify hello from Super as an app. There's something that I want to change here in the index. We put an example app. So let's remove just the example word and put app listening in this particular port that we are defining. So we save that. We do yarn start with it. Perfect. And we can actually open Firefox. And let me do localhost 3000. And we have the hello from Super as an API. Is where we get the last time. But in order to doing this testing, the browser actually is a little troublesome for us to do it. So I will actually need to everybody go to look for Postman and download this app. And you can actually use that one, or you can use Insomnia, I believe. Yeah, Insomnia, something similar. And even there's something called Postwoman. Or you can use that one. In my particular case, I will recommend Postman is the more general one to actually use. So this will help us to do the request to our application and verify that everything is working. So I already have installed it. So actually let me open it, Postman. And while I have my server still running, let me send the Postman over here. This is how Postman. I will do a new request. And it's going to be new request. We're going to do a get to localhost 3000. We send it and we receive the JSON information, right? We have the curly bracket, the key, and the message. So this is actually the way to be testing an API. It's a better way, and we're going to be saving our different requests, so it's actually a pretty cool tool to utilize. So let's move forward with this. I will talk about what about this is a public route. Let me say that we want to use another one. So in the route, let's actually create a new one called API. And let's leave it empty. And let's actually copy everything we had in the index. Hello from the actual API. We leave it like that. And in the index, what we're going to do is import it, API router from API, and we're going to be using in the API. API router. So the only thing that we're doing is whenever we hit the route, we go to index directly. Whenever we hit /API, we're going to hit the API router. And the API router, the root of the API router, of course, we need to remember that this is being called from /API already. That means that this in reality is /API /. This is what it means. So let's keep it like that. We open our Postman. So when we send our GET requests, the route is that one, but if we do /API, hello from the actual API. So now we have two different routes displaying different information. But as you can see, the API is public. We want to actually somehow protect the API, and we need to verify a way to do it. So let's find out how to do that. This is created through a middleware. And let me open Express middleware. Middleware is a function that we call before something happens. So it's between after we had the get, where we actually specify that particular function that you want to do. As you can see, something really similar to use request, respond, and next. If we call the next, then it's going to go to a particular place. So let's actually create our function. Let's call it, let's actually do this part. So let's create in a service in the source directory. Let's do a new call services. I like to have that. And then let's have like an authorization services. And this will help us to actually handle that particular middleware. So here we're going to do accounts, authorization, equal. I'm going to send the request, response, and next. And we're going to do something about it. So in this particular function, we're going to do console.log request, and let's actually put request has been made, and then we call next. That way we are going to log in this before every time we do a request. Cool. So let's actually export cons authorization. So let's export that function. In our API, of course, we need to import authorization from, and we will say we need to go one step back, services, out. And before this actually happening, we're going to say here in the middle, out, and save it. Ooh, something happened. I believe this needs to be like this. Give me a minute. Oh, it's now export cons is export default. You need to remember that it's export default. Let's do Ctrl R to renew. Is this not working? We just cancel with Ctrl C and start over. Okay, now we like it. I believe this actually need to be like this. Something has happened. Okay, let me test this. Send that to there, and let me call this to the left. Perfect. So if I do a call normal, we have the super as an API, everything is fine, but our middleware or validation is going to happen only here. We have an error, and that error is actually defined as next is not defined. So where is actually not defined the next? Oh, here. Simple error. Let me save. Let me send the API. As you see, requests have been made. So every time I call the API, before actually sending the information, the requests have been made. If I remove the next section, it's going to be waiting because we are not moving forward, but we can say that request has been made, it's been logged. That means that we are sending a function as a middleware. It's called middleware because between the call and the actual request, that will validate everything that we are doing in this request. In this case, we are making an authorization there. Well, this is actually pretty cool. That way, let me cancel this because we'll never return anything. And it's important that always do next when the validation is correct. We can actually do rest.response JSON response.status, let's say for one. We call it like that. No, it's not been there. Let me check actually that part. Response, let's look for the response in the for_x API. And I believe we have response status. There you go. Let's do something like this. Sorry. Response status. Remember, the status 141 is like prohibit. So that means we make a call, it will never print hello from the actual API. It will send us a unauthorized bad request or something like you don't have permission. You don't have permission. We can do something like this, or just if we don't want to send anything at all, we just can send something like response end, and it's pretty much the same without the content. So that way we can actually validate if the request has been made is properly, the way that it's supposed to, then you can do something about it. So let's actually do that request secure. And the way that we're going to be using is using the authorization header. And let's use the bearer token. Let's actually delete this and have something for the founder. My secret token. Something that we're going to be sending through the API. So we can actually save here. Let's actually for now, instead of status, let's do a next before in order to finish it. I want to keep that one there just in case. And I will want to print my request. I want to see it. So let me actually send it. And we can see that actually the object request everything that the user sent when we did this call. And there is something that I want to see here. And I believe it's request.out. Let's do it again. It's undefined. Request headers. There you go. We have an authorization that is a bearer token called my secret token. So we are sending an authorization headers. So we can actually say, okay, check my headers dot authorization, and we are pretty much printing the token. As you can see, we have bearer at the beginning. It's just a way the authorization bearer token works. You just put like the word bearer in the end. So we can actually do some kind of probably a split with space and send me the second object. That way we have my secret token. This is what it's doing, is splitting the string, so it converts it to an array where the first object of the array is going to be the word bearer, and the second object of the array, on the object number 1, is going to be the actual token. Let me make the call again, and we see my secret token is passing. So that way we can actually do a validation. Right now this is a really simple example. So we can actually take all this and we can say if and I believe we can do something like this equals my secret token, and actually do a little more modern. Do my secret token. If that's true, we're going to go to next. If not, we're going to respond that you are not authenticated. So in our token have is equal to my secret token, and we send it. We have hello from the API. But if we remove this, we need to handle when the authorization is not there. But if we send something random, we are not authorized to see it. If we send again my secret token, we're able to see the information. This is actually a really cool way to protect our API. Let's go and test it. In this case, we have an issue when you don't have the token there. Cannot read property split of undefined. So that means the authorization is not there. I think we can do something like this. Let me save it. Okay, we can do some kind of validation. Is request headers exist? It's going to do something. Let's actually test this. Oh, we need to send the, if not, we just send by default. Close it, starting, everything working. Okay, we need to see this request authorization doesn't exist. There you go. If the token is empty because we send the status, or if the authorization MySQL doesn't exist, something like that is still unauthorized. But now we can actually send my secret token, we're able to call the API. So this way we will have our authorization simple middleware actually waiting for have this particular token.